Hello, my name's Bonna Heinzen, and I'm with the Cook County Farm Bureau. And with me today, I have Janet McCabe, who is our current Farm Bureau Board President and has been with the organization for numerous years. And I'm going to let Janet talk specifically about that. But Janet, if you could introduce yourself and give us a little bit of background, please.
Sure. My name's Janet McCabe. My husband and I and my son and daughter-in-law and my daughter to some extent farm about 500 acres between Southern Cook and Will County. We do some row crop of corn, soybeans, and wheat, and then we also bale about 100 acres of hay, and we bale the straw off the wheat once that's ready. I've been involved in farming, I guess, as long as I've known Joe. I met Joe when I was a student at Northern Illinois University in DeKalb. I went for nursing, and I currently am a critical care nurse, have been working since '82, that ages me. But we met, his sister was on my dorm floor, and he came up to visit her, and we met and fell in love and yada, yada. So he farmed with his family in Orland Park. They moved out there. The farm's been in the family. We were just talking about that this weekend, how long actually the farm's been in the family, and we haven't come up with a date yet. But his dad's mom's family farmed in Orland for a long time. And they moved out in 1965 when Joe was just going to start kindergarten. And then somebody farmed the land for a little bit, and then his dad started, and then Joe got involved. So when I met Joe in '79, I used to come out and visit him in Orland from DeKalb on the weekends and stuff, and sort of saw things and rode along with him in the truck and tractors and stuff like that. And then we got married in '85 and moved to Orland Park. I grew up in Mount Prospect, didn't even cut the grass. So my parents were just amazed that, you know, what I was doing, but slowly got more and more. My husband's theme in life is if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile kind of thing. So I started doing more and more with the farm. And as with the hay involvement, as we had kids and got older, I'm a nurse, but I work at night so that I'm available to do a lot of the hay work in the summertime, since it has to get done in the daylight in the sun, and Kevin and Joe both work. So that's my big involvement. I always tell them I don't do any loose dirt farming. I don't really do that much with the grain side of it, other than book work and occasionally load a truck and things like that. But I don't drive the combine, although he's tried many times. I don't plant or do anything with loose dirt. I'm okay with the hay because you're up on solid ground. We tried a couple of times and it didn't go well, so we've given up with me and loose dirt farming. As far as the Farm Bureau, many years ago, back in 2005, they switched things around. They used to have committees, and they went to a team structure. And Jerry Copping, who actually is on the board now, came to me. He used to meet my father-in-law or see him for coffee and stuff. And I was active with the school district and the parent-teacher association and stuff. So had done things with referendums and things like that and stuff. So Jerry came to me and asked me if I'd be interested in the newly formed governmental affairs team. And I thought that sounded interesting, and I, wanted to be involved. So I joined that team and was on that team, and still currently am on, sit on that team and stuff, but enjoyed doing that. And then at one point, I don't remember the year, Bonna, we split into 6 teams and we started a PR team, and I joined the PR team too. So I currently sit on governmental affairs and public relations. And then obviously in 2011, I was voted onto the board. I was actually the first woman on the board, so that was a big deal at the time. So I've been on the board since 2011, and then in 2017, when Jim Gutzmer, the immediate past president, stepped down, then I was voted to be president of the board. So I'm also the first woman president for Cook County. So it's been fun. I really do enjoy the president, working with Bob and all the staff, and seeing all different aspects. I mean, I was fairly involved with being on 2 teams out of the 5 and stuff, but it's been interesting being president, where you're, a little bit more involved and find out what all the whole organization is doing.
Absolutely. Janet, just thinking back to when you and Joe first met, and agriculture in Cook County and Southern Will County at that time, how has agriculture changed?
People are a little bit more impatient. We've always been right up against urban areas and stuff. A lot of our fields are actually right in Orland or across from the mall. So it used to be a little bit easier to move equipment and stuff. Now it's, you know, it's always a challenge and stuff. For the most part, I would say people are fairly tolerant, or they're interested when you're out there with the equipment and stuff. I mean, most of the time you do get people coming out and asking, especially like when we're harvesting and the trucks coming or the combines there and stuff. I don't so much know about when we're planting, although people have come out and stuff. And a lot of times you're doing impromptu educational seminars, whether it's about what the piece of machinery does or what you're planting or, you know, what you're doing and stuff. But most of the people seem to enjoy it. There's always challenges being next to urban. You have a lot of four-wheelers going through fields and stuff, and then it's just bizarre. We have some hay fields and stuff, and people just think that that's part of their backyard and stuff. We had one guy, and he actually called and was like, "Oh, I just cut a part of your field down so that we'd have a soccer field for our kids." And it's like, "Oh, you did? How nice." I said, "But you really can't do that." I said, "That's how we make a living and stuff." And then they just were just so amazed that you know, were upset that they cut part of your hayfield down so that their kids could play soccer. But other than that, I mean, you have, you know, some dumping issues and stuff. We actually don't have a whole lot of trouble with when we don't personally spray ourselves. We have a company that does our spraying for us and stuff, putting the fertilizer on and the insecticide and stuff. But they're really good about watching, obviously, environmental conditions and wind conditions and stuff. And I can honestly say we really haven't ever had a complaint by anybody that, you know, anything's gotten damaged or anything and stuff. So I give a lot of kudos to our company. They really are watchful as far as that goes and stuff. But just prices of stuff. I mean, prices of seed corn and beans obviously have gone up with all the new technologies and stuff like that. There's a lot more going into it, what you have to try and look for different weed pressures that have come. I mean, weeds, just like the coronavirus, it keeps changing and mitigating to survive. I mean, a weed's going to do all it can to survive. So it doesn't take long for it to figure out what you're putting on it is not working for them, and they change up and stuff. But other than that, banking, I mean, you used to be able to go in your local bank. I remember when Joe and I were first married, and he told me to go up to the bank and, you know, that he had found a tractor on some auction over the weekend, and go in on Monday and tell Bob Bateman that we bought a tractor. And it was like, oh, okay. So, and I went to the bank and they're like, okay, no problem, sign here and stuff. Where, you know, that doesn't happen anymore. That sort of small town, you know, local banker feeling obviously is gone. So stuff like that's changed. But overall, the actual, you know, you put the crop in the ground and you take the crop out and stuff has stayed the same over the years. But the kids were little. Julie always, you know, she was involved to some extent. We always used to have a big garden at my mother-in-law and father-in-law's house in Orland and stuff. And Julie's idea of helping in the garden, when Fran and I'd be picking green beans, is she'd turn the bucket over and sit. And at the time then you had a cell phone, and she'd be like, well, I'm going to sit here and monitor in case we get a phone call or something. It's like, okay, Jules. Or she'd be eating the green beans as fast as we were picking them and stuff. But she's good. She is part owner. We own some farmland in Manhattan and stuff, and she did go in with us. And she does help when she comes in. She still knows how to, you know, sling hay and run a bobcat and stuff like that. But Kevin and Jesse are more involved. Jesse, actually, when they moved out to Manhattan, she told Kevin, because she grew up in Oak Lawn, she said, if you're moving me out to the country, so to speak, that she wanted horses. So they have 2 horses that she just loves. So she's stays involved with the hay like I do and stuff. She's also a nurse and works during the day, so she's not. But she actually will get in the combine and move it up the field for Kevin. But she was younger when she started. I was a little bit older. Didn't want to get involved with it because I knew if I started doing it, then that'd be my job. Mama didn't raise a fool. I wasn't going to take on more than I wanted. So, but it's been good being involved with the Farm Bureau and meeting people around the state and, you know, hearing their views and stuff. I mean, it's a definite disconnect sometimes, and it's a definite educational thing when you tell them you're from Cook County and stuff. Even a lot of the farmers from downstate don't think there's any farms in Cook County, let alone legislators and stuff, you know, as far as believing that there's farms in Cook County and stuff. So you do a lot of education, which is fine. I don't mind that. That's good.
So, Janet, you have a long history both on the board and as a volunteer, and have been on governmental affairs, you've been on public relations, but you've also had the opportunity to see a lot of the different teams and the different programs. What are some of your favorite programs?
I guess well, being on PR, of course, I have to give a shout out to Food Checkout Day and stuff. That's always that's evolved over the years, and it's been fun watching that evolve. But it's always been a good program as far as realizing or helping people realize where their food actually comes from, and the extent we've sort of transitioned now where we're doing more food pantry with the way the year's gone last year and this year and stuff. I think that's been a good move and stuff, but it's good to, you know, be able to talk to people. So I really like that program. On the governmental affairs side, the Adopt a Legislator program that we have where you, different counties, I mean, we don't adopt because Cook County, they're all our legislators and stuff, but we work closely and we have gone on a lot of visits where downstate county has come up to meet their legislators. So we coordinate and Cook goes along with it and stuff. And that's been really good to get other farmers up into their districts and just to meet with the legislators and stuff. I enjoy those. And when we do the Friend of Ag Awards and stuff, the other, we've had different projects with Metropolitan Water Reclamation District and stuff, and that's been interesting to see what they're doing and then to talk to them about us. They've been really good to work with. I'm trying to think. When we go down, we usually, this year, of course, it's going to be virtual, but back in the day when we used to be able to be in person, the governmental affairs conference down in Springfield was always good. You went to seminars and stuff, so it was an educational aspect to it, but then we always had a reception with the legislators and they came. So it was nice to get that contact and stuff. And then our Leaders to Washington trip, when we went and actually lobbied or met with our Washington officials as opposed to just on the state level and stuff, and met with different, oh my God, Bonnet has taken us to so many places. We've been to NASA, and we always try and do a few educational things along with just the lobbying aspect and stuff. And we've been to so many, I can't even think of it, all the places we've, Ag Alliance, and you have to help me, Bonnet, I'm going blank, but I mean, we've been to so many places in DC where we've made so many contacts and gotten so much information and stuff. That's really helped when we come back here. As far as the other teams that I'm not uniquely involved with, but the Ag in the Classroom, that whole program is just, to me, fantastic that you're introducing, because there's so many kids at the that don't have any idea. They're so far removed. I mean, maybe their grandparents or great grandparents never even did farm. I mean, that's possible still. They just don't have any concept and stuff. So just bringing in that information. I've helped out a couple times when they've had I can't think where we've been at Wagner Farm or the North one, Ag Days, I think it is, where they bring in the different schools and they have different stations and stuff. And I've helped just move kids through and stuff. But that just is a phenomenal program and stuff. Commodities and Marketing, I know, do a lot of education for our farmers and stuff with beekeeping and hemp. When hemp was coming in, they did that. I know they have a timber one coming up now, and just different tours, and they run that thing in the summer, the farm,
The crawl?
farm crawl, sorry, where all the different farm businesses in Cook County, north to south and stuff, and you can go visit. I think they switched it to virtual this year, which I thought was really exciting, that people could still actually see the different thing. And with legislators and stuff too, we've gone on a lot of farm visits and stuff. We've had people out riding combines and stuff. That's just always so much fun too, when you can bring the legislator out to your farmer. They can see, you know, even if it's not my farm personally, but for them to see what you're actually doing on a day-to-day basis and stuff. And then of course, member relations and stuff just does a phenomenal job as far as keeping the membership involved. Defensive driving courses, they've had, build a board nights and painting and just all kinds of, it's really a very program that they are always trying to come up different seminars on insurance, wills, recycling, shred days and stuff. I mean, they really run the gamut of everything they can think of. And then the Cooperator, which is our publication, if you're a member, that you get, that just, they do a phenomenal job on that. It's an email or a printed version. I'm still old school and like to hold the thing in my hand, but I know a lot of people have gone to opening it online at a quicker version and stuff, but that is a phenomenal way for us to get information to people. And it's amazing how many people, like even when the kids were in school and stuff, they obviously must have been a Farm Bureau member through the insurance or whatever and stuff. And they'd be like, oh, I saw your picture in the paper and stuff. And it just always amazes me how many people, and it's good to know that many people read the Cooperative that really don't have any interest in or any connection to agriculture, but still will pick up that when it comes in the mail and read it cover to cover. So it's heartening to hear that, but I'm glad. It's a good tool for us to get our word across.
I would agree. You talked so much about the different programs, and I mean, some of them, I know that I've been there with you and we've had a great time. What are you most proud of from related to Farm Bureau?
As far as programming?
Programming or a policy that Farm Bureau's gotten passed, or something you guys have done as a board or as teams, just that individual thing that
I didn't personally do it because I wasn't on the board at the time they switched to the teams, but I really think that's one of the best things that the Farm Bureau has done, in my opinion, is to switch to these 5 teams and stuff. They used to have many teams and they had a women's committee and stuff. And I just think it's so much better where it's just open to anybody that has any interest at all. I mean, as far as being on a team member, there's many members that aren't farmers that are on our teams. I mean, there's some that are on PR that just, like the concept of Farm Bureau and what we're doing. There's many teachers or different people that are involved in education that are on the Ag in the Classroom Committee. PR runs the gamut. They maybe have had some farming in their background, or a grandparent had a farm or something, but they're interested. And one of the ladies that's on our, I don't think she's on PR anymore. Is Amy on PR anymore? No, just on governmental affairs. But she was originally, when Illinois Farm Bureau had their Farm Mom program, she got involved with that and then came to us, and she's just a wonderful asset as far as always getting another viewpoint of other than just the farmer, getting the consumer viewpoint, which is, I think, invaluable as far as when we go forward and we try to set up programs and stuff to attract the consumer or the non-farmer member and stuff. It's so wonderful to have her viewpoint in there as to what, maybe people would like to hear, or how we're saying it should be said differently and stuff. Policy, this last one actually that we just got passed, where people that are in an elected official shouldn't be a lobbyist at the same time, I think was a really important one. And when I broached it to the resolutions committee, so many people were aghast that wasn't already a rule or a policy and stuff. So that one I'm pretty happy with, that we got that in the books and stuff. Gosh, there's just been so many over the years, Ben, I don't really remember, but that one really sticks out as to, just seems like it should have been something that should have been in a long time ago, that I'm glad we got in this year.
I would agree with you. I smiled because I've talked to Mark and Tim, who are both current members of our board of directors, and Mark probably, but Tim would not have been a board member when we made the transition from the committees to the team structure.
Right.
And all 3 of you have brought up what a good decision it was, and how it integrates so many more members, and how it integrates people who aren't directly connected to agriculture. And I just think that is so cool to see a board of directors that either we're all together at the same time, or we're involved in some aspect, or we're not involved, agreeing at how this has shaped our organization and how good it has been.
Well, and I think, to me, I mean, seeing it now, being president with seeing all of them and stuff, it just seems like it's a much more cohesive group. I can't imagine. I mean, I wasn't there when it was just committees and stuff, but to me, it would have been so much more disjointed. I would think sitting at a board meeting and hearing reports of committee after committee, I would think they would have stayed so much more individual or polar kind of thing. Whereas now with the 5 teams and, you're hearing about every team, but there's so much interaction. I mean, PR and Ag in the Classroom works quite a bit together, and PR and Governmental Affairs works together. And I mean, everybody's involved with membership, trying to keep membership going, and Commodities and Marketing affects everybody. It just seems like there's so much more where everybody knows what's going on in the organization all at the same time, even though you're maybe not on all, I mean, you can't possibly sit on all committees and stuff, but it just seems like it keeps it a much more cohesive group than I can't imagine having, 20 committees going on. That just doesn't seem like it would have been very cohesive.
Well, and I know right now is not the best example, but when things are normal, we have those committees meeting at the same time. And it's from a staff perspective, and I suspect it's the same for our members. It's so good to see the different people because I don't work hand in hand with commodities, so I don't have as much interaction with that group of volunteers, but I know who they are.
Right.
And I just would imagine it's similar for board members as well.
Oh, absolutely. When we, like you said before, when we hopefully get back in person, we all meet as a team, and then we usually, have a meal and stuff. So then you're able to, talk and hear what's going on, and then the board goes to meet and stuff. So yes, absolutely, I agree with that. That it's nicer. Obviously, with Zoom meetings, you're only meeting with your actual committee and stuff, but the board still does hear about all the committees at the board meetings and stuff. So that part does bring it back. Even if it's by Zoom, you're still hearing about everybody.
And Janet, you touched briefly on being our County Farm Bureau president, that you have interactions with other County Farm Bureau presidents. And one of the things I found incredibly interesting was you having to explain agriculture to them, that even involved in Farm Bureau, they may not realize that Cook County agriculture exists. Can you talk a little bit about those conversations? Can you talk a little bit about your interactions with other county farm bureaus through your role as our president?
Sure. We routinely meet twice a year as a county farm bureau, where every county president meets, and we meet with the Illinois Farm Bureau president and vice president. So actually Wednesday, we were supposed to meet, just coming up this Wednesday, we were supposed to meet in person. They routinely do it once in the wintertime, like January, February, and then we usually meet in July. So this meeting allows the vice president and president of the Illinois Farm Bureau, because all the counties are made up of grassroots organization, starts at the bottom. So the members are members of a county farm bureau, and then the county farm bureaus are a member of a state farm bureau, and then the states are a member of the American Farm Bureau Federation. So anyway, it gives the county farm bureau presidents a chance to hear what's going on at the state level from the president and vice president. And then we get to bring up any issues or concerns that the county is having in your particular county and stuff. So we meet by region. So you don't necessarily in the winter sessions hear about everything that's going on south, unless Rich and Brian, the president and vice president, have an issue that they bring up and stuff. But at least it gives you a regional view of what's going on in their counties. And a lot of times we've gotten ideas, because they'll maybe mention what they're doing as far as like either fundraising for their foundation or programs that they're doing for their members and stuff. And it's like, oh, wow, that's something maybe we could try. So there's a lot of exchange of ideas and stuff. And then you hear about problems that they're having, and it's like, wow, that's not something that affects us on a county level where I am. And then they hear issues that that maybe they don't even think about that happen because of us. I mean, a lot of the other counties are more rural, where they are all farmland, that they don't have the issues that you have up here in, say, DuPage, or even Will's a little bit getting more urban, or with issues with that going and stuff. But that's a good exchange of ideas and stuff, and so much maybe not regional, because they know Cook, but when then we meet in July, we usually always have, that's usually down in Bloomington, or back in the day when we met in person, you'd go down. It was a 2-day thing that was there, and then they always had really good speakers on different topics, or the staff of Illinois Farm Bureau got you up to date on what the issues were and what our legislative priorities were going to be and stuff. So it was some educational, it was some networking, it was good. Again, you heard from the president and vice president and stuff. So there you had more exposure to the whole state and stuff. And then that's where you would actually do more explaining that there is agriculture in Cook County and fairly good sized farms. I mean, obviously we're not doing 10,000 acre farms in Cook County and stuff, but there's several farms that are thousands of acres that farmers farm and cook. And then it also introduces, because I don't think we have such diversity in Cook County with greenhouses and vegetable growers and, hydroponics and, beekeepers and equine, and that the other counties don't have, that they're strictly, a lot of them are strictly row crop farmers and stuff. So they don't have the issues of, or realize that, hey, that is, agriculture, whether it's, you're not growing corn and soybeans, but, our greenhouse growers and our vegetable growers are just as much of a ag powerhouse or a farmer as other ones and stuff. So that's always good to be able to, explain the diversity and to me also, because I'm still working on a lot of our farmers that are up here, especially like obviously the greenhouse growers and the vegetable growers and stuff. I guess you'd call that working. Some of the row crop farmers don't work off the farm, but there's some of our farmers that do hold a off-farm job and farm. So I think bringing that perspective, because a lot of the other county farm bureau presidents just farm and don't realize sometimes when, they're going to schedule a program or something, it's like, hey, if you'd like, more people to be involved, you need to not have it at noon, during the week when there's people at work and stuff. So I think they're slowly getting better at that as far as programming, or at least now since we've all gone virtual, which I think is a wonderful thing. And hopefully that will continue, that they maybe will videotape a lot of the programs and stuff so that people can then go back and look at it, in the evening or at their leisure or on Saturday or something when it's convenient, and still get the educational or hear about the what was transpired at the meetings that they were unable to physically get to. So hopefully that won't go away once we start meeting back in person and stuff, because I think that's still I mean, it's important, and there is an aspect that I do miss of not being able to meet in person. As much as you can Zoom and actually see people, it's not the same as being in a room and being able to talk to people and stuff. But the aspect of having a program that's videotaped that somebody else can go back and watch, or even like myself, I hear about it, but you can't remember everything, and my husband would be interested in the program, so things like that. So it's good to see, and it's slowly getting, there's a few more women at these meetings. I'm not the only one all the time, so I'm really interested, because I think a few more there used to just be 2 of us, and I think we're up to 4 if I'm not mistaken, but we haven't had a meeting in person since the other 2 maybe came on, so I haven't yet had the pleasure to meet them. So that will be fun when we get back in person.
Excellent. I want to ask you right quick, one of the committees that you've been involved since the beginning, we actually have not talked about, and it's not part of our typical team structure, but it's the Political Action Committee. Oh. And I believe that you have been a member of that committee since the very beginning. And that committee was created in 2009. And Janet, if you could just talk a little bit about that committee and its role and your experiences with it.
Sure. Well, when we had the wonderful pleasure of hiring Bonna, we ended up deciding that we needed to be a little bit more of a voice in the local political scene, as opposed to just at the state level and stuff. I mean, there's so much that goes on at the county level that does affect Cook County ag. So we did form the Political Action Committee. It's obviously separate from the Cook County Farm Bureau or the Cook County Farm Bureau Foundation. I currently sit as the president right now, just because I'm the president of the organization, but we've done a lot of things. We vet every election cycle. We vet and invite every candidate that's running, whether Democrat, Republican, Green, Libertarian, whatever, gets invited to come. We used to meet in person. This year we met virtually with the candidates, which I thought worked, reasonably well. I mean, at least we were able to keep doing what we try to do. So we interview everybody. We keep it to the same time. We ask them all the same questions. So we're able to make comparisons. We don't favor one party or another. Everybody gets asked the same questions and grilled the same way as to that. And then once the primary's passed and the candidates are determined for the general election, then we do go back and interview for the general election. And then we meet as a group and decide on, we score as we interview and stuff. And then we set a benchmark number where you have to reach it to be even eligible to be endorsed. And then the PAC will make endorsements as to whether that's in kind. I mean, we've done, given them actual cash money if they want to put signs up and stuff. We've mentioned them in the cooperator and things and stuff. I mean, and there's been some races where we haven't endorsed anybody. We just haven't felt either that one was more stellar than the other one, or that they were both good and nobody could decide, or we've had places that nobody's met the criteria and we don't like to waive from that criteria because we feel it's not effective to say that we endorse somebody and stuff. So the group is very diligent and very, it's all volunteer time. So the people are very, believe in what we're doing very much so and stuff, and take it very seriously and stuff. So endorsements aren't made lightly. So it's been really fun. It's been a good group of people, and that's diverse. It's not just all governmental affairs people. It's some board and some other people that are just really like the political process and stuff. So that's really been a good committee to be part of.
I would agree with you. Janet, we are hitting up to our time limit. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, I guess I think me being a nurse, I was able to be on the Illinois Farm Bureau, excuse me, a couple of years ago, had a healthcare working group to try and come up with some solutions or ideas for farmers that have been struggling so with the high cost of health insurance and stuff. So that was a really exciting committee to be on. Unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of answers because of state law and different things like that. We couldn't really offer a lot of stuff, but it was interesting to learn. I mean, I learned so much more than I even know as what I do it a day by day as far as the insurance and stuff. So that, given the opportunities that I've gotten to be involved with different things, and just, I think, bringing the perspective of working for somebody else sometimes to discussions on the table when a lot of farmers are self-employed, small business owners and stuff, that I think that brings a different perspective that I like to think I add to discussions and stuff. So I guess that's about all I'd want to add.
I would agree with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me, to have a conversation. We do want to encourage everybody who takes a look at this video to take a look at the other 100-year videos, and make sure you visit our website to take a look at the book and everything that we put together to celebrate. So thank you.
Yep, I appreciate that. And then the 100-year was obviously hit it a wonderful year in 2020 for our 100-year, but that core committee worked their tail off changing as things evolved in 2020 and stuff. And I'm really proud of the website that's up in that 100-year page and stuff. It keeps evolving, but it's really a wonderful testament to Farm Bureau on the 100-year, and you guys worked really hard on that and getting that up. So please do go look at it. It's wonderful.